Can everyone see that?
Coming, I think. Oh yeah, great.
Okay. So I'm losing everyone off the screen here, and
Yeah.
I think I'm ready to go. Does that look right from your end there?
Looks beautiful.
Wonderful. Okay.
So you tell me. You ready?
Right to go, yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, guys. So I'm going to take a different approach here. This is more honouring my strengths and talents in telling a narrative sort of approach, I guess, to the way I'm looking at what my life coach goal is. Ultimately, I'm looking at becoming an art therapist, so and majoring, I guess, in drama therapy. So similar to Carla, I'm going to be looking at motivations, looking at a little bit at rediscovery of self.
Mm-hmm.
And on that process, a little bit of a story that goes with it, which sort of helps tell what's going on for me, because this was a big revelation for me recently when I sat down with a big cup of coffee and a whole bunch of these pencils and crayons and everything, and sat on the lounge room floor, and I just asked myself the big question: what do I want to do with my life? So being a creative, I sat quietly for a moment. I surrounded myself with unlimited stationery, and I thought, okay, what am I still yet to do with my time? So I remembered picking up this guy, the yellow crayon, and I said, okay, it was bright, it really stood out for me, and I thought in that moment I began to draw a simple line, and this is my lifeline. And I thought to myself, okay, let's add some colour and some things in this lifeline that would mean something to me, and ultimately I'm going to be heading for something which is worthwhile at the very end of all this. So this was my yellow brick road. I felt as though I'd already been travelling on this road, walking away from my past and towards something far greater. I'm just not so clear what it is. So let's explore what that might be. So if I'm really specific about my goal, really focused on what it is, then perhaps I can possibly plan this road a little bit better along the way to find some proximal and distal goals, which will help me get there. So what stood out for me in that moment was a profound change. This is a change of scene, a change of environment, somewhere where I was happy, where I worked hard doing what I love to do in more of a professional realm. That also provided me with greater financial security than what I'm currently experiencing. So that for me is employment in the practice of art therapy, particularly with drama therapy. So in reflection, I do realise that before that this was my ultimate goal, career goal, and I've been progressively working towards that. However, there have been a fair share of recent drawbacks and limitations, both internally and externally experienced, which I guess have at times led me off this yellow brick road and literally into adjacent fields. So how can I approach this career transition from a life coaching perspective and create a plan and indeed a path that is tailored just for me? So initially adopting a holistic approach and guided by the 6 principles of life coaching as defined by Parslow and Leadham, I firstly explored a definition for my life purpose in an attempt to better understand myself and thinking about what my family and my friend would say or write about me long after I've passed. So utilising the Myers-Briggs type indicator, rediscovered my INFJ personality type, which is an acronym for introverted, intuitive, feeling and judging. And it's a type which is also known as the advocate. So doing this brought back into my focus the personality traits that I see in myself, such as acting with creativity, imagination, conviction and sensitivity, whilst being quite capable of taking concrete steps to realise goals and make a positive, lasting impact on others around me. So within this description was also a definition for the INFJ purpose in life, being the advocate's contribution to the betterment of others. Indeed, this has been communicated directly to me and indirectly by people close to me in my personal life. In recent times, I've used the Johari window tool in capturing these observations in an effort to further develop my open self. So once I captured a fresh definition of my life purpose, I investigated the second principle for life coaching, which recognises the positive psychology approach. That's a theoretical framework used in coaching and spearheaded by Martin Seligman in 1998. This helped me look through the lens of optimism, hope and resilience as I began to map out an image of the road ahead. I began to recall previous efforts where I abandoned a pessimistic stance and instead adopted a more optimistic viewpoint times when I looked forward instead of back and felt charged with the promise of hope in completing the task. So times when my goal was clear, when it was attractive and was in my line of sight. This was indicative of interpersonal strength that I had. And so I began to refocus on these strengths again to help create this visual representation you see on the screen of how to get to my outcome goal. This then prompted me into the third life coaching principle, which is strengths. So using the VIA character strengths, which is freely available on the University of Pennsylvania's Authentic Happiness website, I confirmed my top 3 character strengths being humor and playfulness, hope, optimism and future-mindedness, creativity, ingenuity and originality. Granted that some of the imagery here is suggestive of themes within a well-known movie, I have taken some creative license to tell a unique story, which indicates that I closely honour my identified strengths, as well as tapping into my personality traits of imagination and sensitivity. So many of my strengths were created out of what I'm calling my changing scene on the left-hand side here. It's a time in my past 17 years, directly after I came out to my family and friends, when I was disowned and left alone to fend for myself in the big wide world. Since then, and just like a phoenix rising from the ashes, I've been reborn through the support of countless mechanisms put into place, both externally through strong new friendships formed and counselling treatment utilising acceptance and commitment therapy, and also internally through new awarenesses and insight gained in my psychology studies, including systems theory. I've also long experimented with theatrical work, which has allowed me to deeply understand and expand on my core strengths alongside my peers over time, and I feel that I learn best practice from those types of experiences. This experiential learning, it's based on the work of David Kolb, remains as my preferred adult learning theory, largely due to my strong and vivid experiences, my reflective observations, my abstract conceptualizations and active experimentations towards most things I now engage with in my life. So in alignment with these strengths are the personal values identified through the Personal Values Assessment tool on the Barrett's Value Centre website. These include vision, well-being, clarity, creativity, enthusiasm, and positive attitude, all of which fit rather snugly with my identified strengths and personality traits and give a more complex picture of how I ideally interact with the world around me. This is not to say that there's no flaws in my current persona. For example, when it comes to taking personal responsibility and having limiting beliefs, I've had my fair share of troubling situations. These were usually during times when my self-efficacy and my motivational drives were low. And this was identified clearly as I approached the fourth life coaching principle, which looks at responsibility and beliefs, using the wheel of tool life down the bottom here. So it was quite evident in my current results that I do not prioritize finances or romance in my life, as I am still broke and single. This may be directly addressed in another instance through the intervention of CBT, for example. However, the Wheel of Life was a benefit as it highlighted for me my empowering beliefs in personal growth, fun and recreation, career projections, all key beliefs needed in collaboration with all my strengths and my values to help facilitate and carry through this desired change in my life. Although I have been enthusiastic in my approaches to further my studies, skills and talents towards the general direction of becoming a practicing art therapist, I have stumbled across a few obstacles, which is this rock here. So along with positive enthusiasm comes a lot of engagement in activities, often activities that aim to help serve other people. Yes, this honours my life purpose identified with the Myers-Briggs type indicator. However, these engagements often take up the majority of my time which can be better utilised in the continue to lead towards my own personal goals. Poor time management has resulted in me in also losing quality sleep. There's been little time for food prep, associated illness when it comes to undue stress. As part of the evolving action plan, it is vital to attend to a management strategy which addresses this issue so as to diminish this obstacle and lay a clear road ahead. So the fifth principle of life coaching considers the planning stage, and this is of course an action plan for me which will honour my identified personality traits, my life purpose, my strengths and values leading towards my big outcome goal of a career transition, as well as allowing space and time for myself to recharge. We'll also consider short-term and long-term goals as a maintenance strategy to keep my compass pointing ahead to my outcome goal. So sitting on my lounge room floor, in this moment of mapping out my pathway, it allowed me to flow into my preferred learning style, which is strongly visual, as you can see. So this was ascertained from completing the VAK learning styles self-assessment questionnaire. As I approached this visualization, I adopted the GROW model of coaching, which aligns well with Kolb's experiential learning cycle. This is an acronym for 4 stages of the coaching process. It begins with setting the goals, and it's based on the idea that now would like to make a change to create a better experience in my future. This is now clearly been explained. In the second stage, the reality, so through all of my prior reflection, so far I feel and understand my situation more deeply. So now I come to the third stage, which is options, which will lead, of course, to an action that I will take. So far I'm considering goals aligned with what I know or make a change based on what I've just reflected on. This includes goals at work, such as completing my current study course, engaging in more theatre workshops, getting back into exercise and healthier food options, as well as re-engaging in local travel breaks more regularly. I regard these as short-term or proximal self-concordant goals. These goals help me lead towards my outcome goal, as well as give me time for myself to recharge. So supporting these goals will be the healthy mind platter technique, which I've also used at times in peak performances. It consists of 7 daily essential healthy mind activities, which optimizes brain matter and creates well-being. These include time set aside every day for task focus, for playtime, for people and natural world appreciation, for aerobic movement, for quiet reflection time, for mind wandering time and sleep time. So distal goals are being created on this map here, and this it further supports my home environment through stronger and more reliable finances aligned with regular paid work, as well as making a commitment to further study through enrolment into a graduate diploma in drama therapy following the graduation of my bachelor degree in December. The final stage of the GROW model includes the will to act, and my commitment to this new course of action is evidenced by the amount of research and time spent in the planning of this visualization, the realistic goals created for my authentic self, and my psychological needs with the visual stimulant of a clearer, more defined and attractive pathway. So my action plan also acknowledges what to stop. It's down the bottom here, and this is such as refraining from overloading my duties, spending less time in front of the computer. Both can really be achieved with little discipline applied. These are not extreme measures. It just requires a little simplicity and clarity, which is something I value highly. So concluding here that the 6th and final principle would look at this life coaching, looks at celebrating the success. Now, I highly anticipate reaping the rewards when I achieve my outcome goal with increased financial stability and in line with my dreams and my aspirations. So celebrating this will definitely go hand in hand with this achievement. It also reinforces planning approach as a strategy, a successful strategy for future goal setting. So I've already had a sense of success from working through these evidence-based interventions and models after recognizing myself in this picture and knowing that before too long, this road will definitely lead me to the end of my yellow brick road and right up to the front gates of the city. And because what led me there was nothing less than my own heart, my own brain, and a lot of courage.
Aww, I love it. Is that the end?
That's the end.
Fantastic. 30 seconds or 14 minutes. That post is like, wow, Greg.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Really well done.